27th day of November. Hard to believe the month just about done. Holiday season is in full swing. It definitely looks it out there. We got 34 degrees in Lindenville. Mike Barrett with Good Policies at Barrett Insurance Agency. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Jeff.
What do you think of them big paper plate snowflakes that you pulled in from Waterford or wherever?
Yeah. Roads are greasy, and I got to tell you, at least the people I was driving with this morning, man, we were all just one big old happy group just trying to get there.
Yeah.
Nobody was really crazy. Nobody was tailgating. Nobody was, well, one person insanely passed everybody, but with temporary plates of all things. Temp plates, I tend to be a little more white-knuckle driving. But anyway.
Yeah, they don't know the car well enough.
But they did all right. They made it back in. So, the roads are slick. So take it easy out there this morning for sure.
All right, good policies. There are many, 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 many determining factors in what a consumer is going to pay for insurance. And I hear this all the time. I've even done it myself. I've worked in factories and had a coworker, the machine next to me, and you're there 10, 11 hours a day. You talk, right?
Sure.
Well, I just went to the insurance company, and, man, my insurance went up $75 a year. Man, what are you paying for insurance? I got full coverage.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm driving a 2005. They're driving a 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They've got an excellent credit score, all of this stuff going on for them. They're paying $100 less a month than me.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? What have I done in the past? Hey, who's your agent?
Yeah.
But there are determining factors, though,
There's
right?
so many variables here, and that's actually funny that you bring that up. So it's probably one of the most common things that we get for a phone call is people will call us up and say, hey, look, I've been talking to people, man, I'm paying way too much for my insurance. And I'll start looking at it, and I don't always find that to be the case. In fact, very rarely, at least with the companies that we represent, do I find that there's a lot of wiggle room. So what I always mention is, look, did you look at your friend's policy? Did you look at their liability limits? Did they have medical payments? Did they have comprehensive and collision? If they did, what were their deductibles? Did they have roadside assistance? Did they have towing and labor? Did they have gap insurance? Did they have full car replacement? What did they have? And the answer is always going to be, I don't know. They just told me they're paying this a month. And I'm like, well, great, but there's so many things at play. Are they your age? Do they have the same insurance score, aka a credit report type of a score, as you? How far do they drive their vehicle for work? Do they drive their vehicle to work? Do they not work? Are they retired? Or do they drive their vehicle for business? There's so many things at play that you're really not going to get an appropriate representation of what they're paying. And in addition to that, what I find really common is people not really sure what they're paying to begin with. So I've had many calls where people go, man, my insurance just went up again. What am I going to do? And I'm going to have to start shopping. And I start looking and go, well, it actually went down $10 a month or $70 a year or what have you.
But it was the first time they looked at the bill in 6 months, too.
Right. So, and no blame on anybody, because even I don't look necessarily all that close at what I'm paying monthly. Or even annually. I'll look at my renewal because I got to practice what I preach, make sure things are where I think they should be. But it's very easy if I don't memorize it. I guess that's the point I want to make. I don't memorize it. So if you come to me and go, Mike, what are you paying a month? I'll go, I don't know, probably about $100. And that's going to sound really good if you're paying $150, $225.
Could be 120, could be 95, whatever.
Yeah, there's a variable there. So that we're talking specifically about auto, but this same rule of thumb applies to all lines of insurance. So if you go to homeowners insurance, my buddy's only paying $600 a year for their home. Well, where do they live? Well, they live in St. Jay. Do they live right in the village? Yes, they do. Do they have a fire hydrant within view of their house? Yes, they do. Well, you live out, in Newark or in West Burke or in Waterford or in Danville with no fire hydrant protection. Maybe you're beyond 5 miles from a fire department. Maybe their house was built is newer than yours. Maybe yours is a 1900s farmhouse and theirs was built in 1992. There's so many things at play that when you're sharing that way, very rarely are you ever going to get an appropriate even if they brought their policies in and I could compare them, that would probably be the only way to truly give you the price that they pay and the reason why they pay that price.
Well, and then from our previous conversations that we've had about this, there are other factors out there: age, marital status. It goes on and on.
Yeah, driving record. Do you have any infractions? Do you have any accidents? Do you have an accident history? Were you non-renewed? Do you have a youthful operator? A million and one things. I could go on all morning. And that wouldn't be good because people would just be driving off the road falling asleep. But there are so many things at play that I encourage people that when you have that conversation, take it with a grain of salt. That's all I say. Just take it with a grain of salt, because there could be something in there that's not 100% correct. And then you've got yourself worked up thinking you're paying too much when that may not be the case. Not saying it was never that way. There may be a time where you're talking to people and you find out what they're paying. You go, man, I need to just look. And you know what? I applaud that, because I think looking is key. You may very well find certain circumstances where you are paying way too much for your insurance, but just always take it with a grain of salt. Just a good rule of thumb.
Well, that too, stay on top of it too, because it changes. Everything changes. You get a new vehicle, you move towns, as you mentioned. I mean, all of that stuff can make a difference in that. Coverage, go back to coverage here. And most folks, when they think of insurance, like me, for example, I don't own any. I don't own a house, okay?
Right.
So I'm a renter. So I think about insurance. I think about automobile insurance.
Right. And you should be thinking renter's insurance.
And I should be. That's right. My girlfriend keeps telling me that. And so where I was going with that was the bottom line dollar doesn't always mean you've got appropriate coverage. I remember one of our very first conversations, the price of a truck like yours out there right now, between $45,000 and $50,000, if you've got a $20,000 coverage policy, that's not going to cut it.
No, you need to make sure that what you have is appropriate for your needs. The last thing you would want, and I see this a lot when first-time home buyers, where I'm talking to them and they're buying a house, and we get that all situated, and then I start a dialogue about their autos, or maybe I start it in tandem with them going through the home purchase. And a lot of times I'll find that their liability limits are pretty low. So that gives me a great opportunity to come to them. And I'm not, and a lot of people go, oh, he's upselling. No, it's actually guidance. It really is. So now you're going to have a $200,000 house and you have state minimum liability limits on your auto. What do you think could happen if you get into a devastating accident with state minimum liability limits, but you have this beautiful $200,000 asset with your name on it?
We've talked about this, and that becomes part of that payment. You have to sell that baby off, and that's not good.
That's not good. So it's all about appropriate coverage for that time of your life, financially where you're at. A number of years ago, there was a total loss fire, and the person impacted by that fire, it was a business, and I'll never forget the quote, and it was, always buy as much insurance as you can afford. And, I don't know if that's the best guidance, but I think that's an appropriate way to think about it. Stop thinking about the cheapest insurance and think about the best price for the best coverage, which is the cliche of insurance that I hate, but that truly is what it comes down to.
Well, and it boils down to the old saying, cheap is quality.
Yeah, get what you pay for.
All right.
Never forget that. Don't buy insurance like a Black Friday deal, because that's just that's not the best way to do it.
Nope. All right. So have the conversation with your agent, Mike.
Yes, give us a call, 748-5224. Visit our website, thebarrettagency.com. Google, Facebook, and YouTube is all Barrett Insurance Agency, and we're on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury.
And on the air with the Magic Crew on Tuesday mornings.
Absolutely.
You be safe out there.
I'm going to go do some never mind. Scratch that for the record.
I'm going to tell your agent. All right. Good policies on Magic. Kesha.